Hey, welcome in to the special edition of the GASOCAST. Tops in Texas. We just wrapped up playing here in Duncanville. Had a great time at the event. Saw a lot of good players. Learned a lot of new names. But before we jump into the action, I want to make sure that you are following at Texas Hoops GASO on Twitter and Instagram. We'll have all content posted there moving forward. We had a great event at the DFW Fall Classic yesterday. We were spread out today, different courts, saw a lot of good players. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in. A guy who jumped off the page literally, Isaiah Manning, 6'7", 2023 Mansfield legacy. Special player. He was on TCU's campus for a reason yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that he was trying to make a little bit of a statement being out here, looking to improve his ranking, and I think that he did that. You just see him going through a crowd. You see these long arms up there snatching the ball off the glass, pushing it in transition and scoring. I mean, he was a complete player today and was doing it all.
Yeah, one of those guys where when he gets it going downhill, you're just expecting a highlight to happen. I mean, whether it was going up and finishing above the rim through traffic or making the right pass, he really put on a clinic of how the game of basketball should be played today.
Absolutely. We're going to move forward. I'm going to just kind of keep rolling with these names, and y'all speak up where you can. We all saw different guys, so it's very important. Y'all just talk about it. Let's get after it. Kaisai Burton, 5'10", 2022 Sherman. You loved him. I liked him this summer a lot.
Yes.
Go.
With Dynasty this summer, had a really good showing several times at GASO's, and then today he was one of the best, if not the best, point guard prospect in the building. Really great at manipulating pick and roll situations. Has a nice little bounce pocket pass right there to the big on the roll, and he can score. He's tough. He goes ball body man, getting to the cup. Really liked what I saw from him today.
Yeah, he scores at the appropriate times. Like, he doesn't try and force it. He lets the game come to him, and then he has the ability to score, but he really does a great job of getting teammates involved in it, and it showed today. Moving on to Tyler Burleson. Blue, I know you liked him.
Yeah, he was really quick with the ball. He was shifty, going left to right. Did a great job of just elevating over the defense and knocking down shots off the dribble. He was really a guy that I hadn't seen a whole lot of, but today he really stood out.
Got hot in a hurry. You saw him in the back gym.
The word that came to mind with him was microwave. Green three back there. He goes for 8 points on 3 straight possessions where he's just off the dribble, pull up, knock down, 3 in a row. Just gets hot in a hurry, and when it doesn't matter how contested he is, if he's in that mood, he's going to knock down shots left and right.
Yep. Moving on to an out-of-state guy. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this name wrong, but Zeke Cebu. I got 3 or 4 separate evaluations sent to the Google Doc. These long-winded things about how great of a player he is. What did y'all see, and what did y'all like about him?
It was tough.
Yep.
He was able to get to the rim whenever he wanted. He was finishing over 1 or 2 guys, and he was just, anytime he had a lane, his team did a really great job of getting him the ball. He was cutting to the basket, catching, and just finishing above the rim.
Yep, saw him a lot this summer with Dallas Mustangs, but he was in more of a complementary role to Chase Henderson and the Witten twins over there, and was great with what he did, getting rebounds, playing good defense. But today he was a different animal entirely, getting to the cup, finishing above the rim. I mean, was very, very hard to stop in the open court, and I liked what I saw from him. A
guy who came with him, again, out of state, Ricky Okiyo, 6'5", Grand River Academy. He was awesome, big man. We learned that he played soccer. The footwork showed.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great finishing around the rim, very active on the glass. Really like what I saw from him.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, he was so quick off the floor, bouncy, grabbing the ball, getting the outlet, running the floor, getting easy buckets.
Joseph Mayberry, 6'5", 2023 from Lancaster. He started yesterday at the DFW Fall Classic. Very, very active player. Gets his hands on a lot of balls. Really enjoy watching him.
Yeah, and it's not very often you see that combination of this guy is a guy who's going to go up for every rebound and get it, but then once he does, he's got the guard skills to put it on the floor and lead the break himself and find the open man on the break for an easy 2 points.
He is a Farron Douglas guy, if I've ever seen him. Lamar Rogers, 2025, Mesquite Horn, big boy, 6'5", 6'6", plays football. He came out and showed a nice touch, man.
Go ahead and start this one off.
Yeah, no, I know it. You expect when he walks through the door, okay, here's a back-to-basket bruiser big man, but this kid has some touch. He's got some really good feel for the game. put back, soft touch, and he'll put the ball on the deck and actually get to the rim, and he elevates pretty well for that frame he has, you know.
And you can pinpoint right away when you see him. You're like, oh, that's an old lineman.
Yeah.
And his head coach out here was out. Andre Waddy was here supporting him and watching him, and even Coach Waddy even said, you know, he loves basketball. You know, he's so young. We don't know which direction he's going to go, and especially if that body shapes up. I mean, he's going to be really a handful on the basketball
for sure.
court.
Absolutely. Moving into Jackson Prince, we've seen him a lot of times, and out here in the open setting, people were feeding him the ball, and he was getting hot from three.
Yeah, no, he's one of those kids where anytime turnover happens, anytime a defensive rebound happens, it's almost like his feet are magnetized to the three-point line because he is sprinting down the court at full pelt, ready to get his toes on the three-point line, catch, shoot, quick release, and he's going to knock it down most of the time.
And I think that's his nature, isn't it? Because he knows that's the way he's going to be productive at Duncanville, and he comes out and plays the exact same way.
Yeah.
Consistency is always something that you look for in a player, and Prince came out here and he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, and I don't want to look past. He does everything else right too.
Yeah. Like he's a vocal defender, all that stuff.
All the other things right that is going to make him a nice piece at Duncanville, and he's going to be able to stretch the floor for them, which is seemed to be like a fun role to be in, just catch and shoot with that group. Donovan Gomez, 6 foot, 2023, Converse Judson. Tight handle, man. He is start, stop, can hit the three. We've seen a lot of him this summer, too, and he played well today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just putting the ball on the floor a little bit more because of the open nature of the game with this combine, but was able to score in several different ways that I like to see.
What I like most about him today was that he was playing defense. It's really easy to get lazy and just kind of let things go, but he was over there getting deflections, hitting some of the gaps, making easy transition layups. Besides just hitting the three, I thought he showed a little bit more than just being just a one-trick pony there.
Moving on, Nick Chogbanyo from Mansfield Summit. He's a 2022. Lyndon, you said he was phenomenal.
Yeah, one of those guys who, when you watch him, doesn't matter what setting it is, he just kind of pops because he's so athletic and so tough. He was making mid-range shots all day today. Really, really gritty defender, and when you put those two things together, that's a heck of a player you want to see. You know?
And I think that this kind of setting helps Nick because they play so tight as a unit at Summit, and they play so well together. You don't know who the star is.
Sure.
And they don't want the star.
That's a great point.
And so being out here, Nick was able to show, hey, I can get this done on the court. You know, I can play defense, I can play offense. I'm going to just play, but he still has that same mentality of just working hard and playing hard.
Moving on, Reginald Osborne, Trinity Christian Cedar Hill. This cat, long, athletic. I saw him at Red Oak last year. I really liked him, and then I saw him last night at DFW Fall Classic. Then I saw him again today, and I was like, dang, man, this guy, there's a reason this guy keeps showing up. Long, can really get going from the three-point line. He's a perfect swing man. He's grown into his body and his athleticism, and he's going to go along with those two really good guards at Trinity Christian Cedar Hill just perfectly. So I'm looking forward to watching that group. Joshpierre, 6'2", 2022, McKinney North. I heard him described as a typical Daryl Kraft guy. Blue, can you add?
Yes, and he scored a lot out here. Maybe at McKinney North he's not going to get to score as much, but once again, this kind of setting really allowed him to kind of open up his game a little bit more. Liked him in the summer. I think we all did. Just able to come off of the dribble, off the bounce, hit mid-range jumpers, beautiful looking shot, no matter if he's 12 feet away from the basket or if he's behind a three-point line. He'll get the ball, he'll go push it up court, he'll get the ball out of his hands. He just did a lot of great things out here, and I was expecting that, and he delivered.
Yeah. Isaac Berry, 6'5", 2022, out of Little Elm. Lyndon, we liked him. Swiss Army knife.
And it's so smooth with everything he does. Doesn't matter if it's a help side block or if he's attacking the cup, he's going to Euro past you and finish with either hand. I mean, just the versatility just kind of jumped out at me of that kid.
Yeah, pretty good shooter, could handle the ball a little bit, just gave you a lot of things that you'd like in an offense that kind of can make him multiple. He's always going to be on the court because he can do so much. Yeah. Moving into a guy who maybe the highest vertical, and we had some high vert dudes today. Richard Limboy out of Mansfield Summit. Oh my gosh, he almost hit his head on the rim a couple times. Unbelievable in the open floor. What did you see?
just, I mean, you said it all right there. It's the athleticism and the feel with it. He knows when to use that to go snatch an offensive rebound and get a putback, or to push it up the court and lead the break himself. It's something that, when you're that athletically gifted and you can put it to that much of use, it's really great to see as a prospect.
Yeah, and athleticism is going to always win out in here at the Thompson, Texas, because you're able to just do so much more than maybe some of the other prospects on the court.
Right.
And he was able to go and get the rebound just on both ends of the court, and just the bounce that he plays with.
Yeah.
Another guy who's cut out of the same mold, Kendall Weaver. I saw him make 3 highlight play dunks,
Yes.
highlight play blocks, whatever it is. His composure is just fantastic. His mood never changes. He just plays up and down in an open court game. I mean, he's perfect for this setting.
He just, I mean, I feel like he's almost like gone back to flying under the radar. We know what he is. He's a great player, but, he's kind of like, he feels like he needs to prove himself. And this was a great showcase for him to do that the last 2 days.
He's always out here. And
Yes.
I think that he, like you said, he's trying to prove himself, but yet I think we know what kind of player he is. And once again, that consistency where we know that he's going to be able to make highlight plays, where he's going to be able to be the lead guard,
Defend.
Yes. Defend. And so those are the kind of things that he brought out here today at Thompson, Texas.
Yep. Aiden Hayes, 6'5", 2022 from Plano East. What'd y'all see?
Just a straight up jumping jack. Like he just, anytime he got down into the paint, it was 2 hands above the rim, finishing through contact, and just one of those guys that it's not just he was an open gym athlete. He was able to make plays, create his own shot, hit a couple mid-rangers, hit a couple threes with his feet set. Really liked what I saw from him as far as the skill set to go with that dynamic athleticism.
He was very quick to the basket, I thought. It was sad, and he was able to go finish in crowds and through traffic. He was able to kind of use his body and his length to go up there and score.
Yeah.
Last but certainly not least, Hayden Williams, 6'1", 2022 out of Abilene. Blue, you mentioned you loved watching.
Yeah, he's a Justin Reese player out there in Abilene in West Texas, and the first thing I saw when I turned the corner, he got he caught the ball in the corner, just great elevation, great touch on the ball, and he did that throughout his 3 games. He really had a great touch on his shot.
Yeah.
So we are not done with our Thompson, Texas coverage, but we are going to wrap this one up. Make sure you're following us on social media at Texas Hoops GASO, and make sure you're going to find all the coverage there. We've got a lot of stuff coming out on a lot of the players that came out today. So we appreciate you coming out, and thank you for your time.